Hi, what's going on, everyone? This is Franz again. Let's take a look at markets and how they are developing ever since we exited a lot of our long positions in especially the stock indices. Here we have the S&P on the monthly chart. This line here was the beginning of 2017. We don't care about this one anymore. But what we are looking at here right now is pretty interesting, as this trend is still ongoing on the monthly chart to the upside. Please note that the price is above the balance zone, which means the moving averages symbolizing support have not been hit. The momentum also is at a peak. Now, usually on a monthly time frame, this would indicate that the trend is still running to the upside. Here we have our weekly entries for long positions, but we exited all of them here at this blue line, but we can see this in a moment clearer on this weekly chart that we are going to take a look at. For now, what is important to us is what has happened this month at the beginning of April here already. We are trading closer to this short-term moving average, this green line, and so far we have been able to bounce off of it. It's not really a convincing bounce so far. We really need to see for this month to close. Or looking at candles before they have closed is not really useful for us. As the trend trader, we are only interested in closing prices, and this also applies to the monthly time frame. So right now, it looks like we could have a chance of bouncing off of this short-term moving average, but we're waiting. We don't have a position, which will be clearer in just a moment, and we're waiting to see if this bounce occurs and if this market can continue to the upside, or if more correction is going to happen even on this monthly chart. If this monthly chart trades into the balance zone like it did here, we will have an overall scenario where this market is not trending anymore and where we have no business trading this market, neither long nor short. Right now, if the market would continue to rise, we would be buying because it's on top of the balance zone on this monthly chart. If it trades into this zone here, we are trading exactly in the area where the market wants to be without any new incoming information that's really sending the market to another place. And once the market is in this area, we don't know if a simple sideways market movement like we saw here in 2015-16 is going to happen, or if a bigger drop like in 2008 is going to occur. Now, we don't really care which of the scenarios is going to unfold, because what we would be doing is simply stay out of the market in this phase, and as soon as the market is breaking out to the downside or to the upside on this monthly chart, we would be entering the market in that direction. So if a 2008 scenario should appear, which we're looking at right now, we would simply be selling below this fractal on the monthly, and of course that means that on the weekly we get in a little bit sooner, and we would simply sell this market, and that's it. Right now we would be buying if the market goes up higher again, and we would not be doing anything as long as the market is trading inside the balance zone. Only if it breaks out to the downside are we selling. So weekly chart in the S&P shows this a little bit clearer. We were long all of this, pretty cool stuff. This was a buy, this was a buy, this was a buy, and this blue line a couple of weeks ago, I already told you that we got hit on this and exited all our longs, which was exactly correct. The market did not just stop us out and then continued higher, but it has actually verged into this longer term correction that we're in here right now. And this last week, this candle right there would have had the chance of showing us a bigger bounce, a rejection of these February lows that were made in 2018 here. But the closing of the candle in the lower third or even the lower half of its price range of this previous week here does not show us any bouncing off of these low levels. In fact, we're closing below the balance zone, and this for me is a more and more bearish scenario. Not exactly bearish, as we've seen on the overall time frame, our monthly chart, that this trade is not in a bearish territory yet, but it could move into a corrective phase on our higher time frame, which then would mean choppy price action and quite some lower levels um, for the weekly chart as we are moving into the balance zone on the monthly chart. And this simply means that prices are coming lower. They could definitely hit this 2400 area here in the S&Ps, and we would have to see what happens then. This would be a place where, if you want to draw up some stuff, just give me one moment here. Where is my pen tool? I haven't used it for a while, so I'm forgetting where it is. That's not what it is. Am I being stupid here now, or what? Here. Just a sec, please. Market could absolutely be coming down here into somewhere where this previous fractal is, or this one, or this one. This is usually where you get your support. And here it will, maybe at this point or even sooner, it can turn, move to the upside, but not go, I'm sorry, not go higher than here or even here. This would create a monthly breakout to the downside, and if the market then drops, that would be our sell. But we are far away from that. We don't know if that really happens, and therefore we would be simply be doing nothing as of now. I have been talking about the Euro stocks as well. Let's take a look at that thing. I'm not on top of my game here today. I'm sorry. There it is. Eurostox has been, as many other European indices, already inside the balance zone. It has not created this fractal to break out to the downside on the monthly, which I was talking about just now in the S&P. We already went short here. We are very early on by selling here. We are underwater right now. Our stop is above this fractal here. We have a very small position on. This does not look too favorable for our short, but that's very anticipated actually, because we're not out of the woods. We haven't taken out all of the support here in the balance zone for this to drop further. So we are in very early. We have a very small risk. If the market should continue down, we would be selling more. Right now, we're just waiting with this minimal risk position short to see if it works out or if we get stopped out. Very high danger of getting stopped out here actually. Spanish indice not showing too much of bullishness. We are out of the balance zone here, and we even have a breakout fractal that was hit already to the downside on this monthly chart. So the ESP 35, the EBIS index for the Spanish stock market, has already been broken to the downside on the monthly chart. So we are selling here as well, or we have a short going on, again with very small risk. You never know with these shorts if you get this kind of flash crash scenario, or if you have a very annoying market to the doing a sideways movement where we're not making any money. But since we're just following the price and we have no idea what the market is going to be doing, we are simply following, always prepared to lose money. Therefore, our risk is minimal, especially when new trend directions are trying to be established. We are not focusing on hitting a home run straight away or betting on a crash or something like this. We are very calmly trying to follow, and that's just that. Let's take a look at some of the forex markets. What do I see here? Euro Swiss franc. We are still trying to come up. We are above the balance zone. I don't see too much momentum here on this monthly chart, but we do have a divergence between these momentum peaks to the downside, and now we have a chance of this market establishing some momentum to the upside while it's breaking out. We were long already in this. It's marked over here. All these black lines are valid buy points. We have been stopped out though. as this market has dropped back into this balance zone. Right now, a next valid buy point is right above this fractal, so we have a buy order in there as well. US dollar yen, we are short US dollar yen. It does not look that great here. Short here and shorts are initiated down here. Let's see if this market can establish more downside momentum. The last 2 weeks were not going in our favor here. We don't know what happens. We don't judge these markets. We don't base positions on previous experiences or anything like that. We're just doing whatever the market tells us to do. Even if a market has not moved for 20 years, we would still be entering the market as it tells us that it's breaking out. And even though you haven't seen the US dollar yen moving down that crazily for a long time, when you take a look at this market here, it is 2012 here, where this has been in an uptrend. We are still sellers as the market is selling, not judging anything. Gold and silver here also of interest, but again, as I have been tweeting, this is really annoying. We have been triggered many times into this market, nothing ever happened, stopped out with a loss, stopped out with a loss, stopped out with a loss, and now we are long, still long here, and the market's not able to break above 1380 something, or even 1400 to come out of this annoying sideways market movement where it's not trending. However, it stays above the balance zone. It's giving us new stops. They are right there. That's where we are stopping out if this comes lower. Right now, we're just holding our long position at a loss, which we have been doing for a long time. Same is true for silver. We had this initial try to come up, or this initial attempt to come up to the upside, but it didn't work right after this happened. The following week was very weak, and now we are trading here for 2 months right at the right below the balance zone, actually not being able to break out on top. Our stops are right below here, so we are exiting when this market becomes even weaker than that. Still holding British pound Australian long, very slow position here. We have marked entries right here, very slow, nothing really happening, even though our overall time frame is validly above the balance zone, so we are buying this. That's really it. New Zealand dollar yen, on the monthly, we did have this attempt to break out to the downside here by hitting these fractals, but as this is very strong support, the market has reversed. I'm still short from below here, and my stop is above this fractal. Let's see if this holds, or if I get stopped out. Therefore, always very important, as we can see in this update again, we never know when a market gets going. We never know when a trend shift is taking place, or when a market is successfully breaking out. Therefore, it's always my recipe to enter every position as small as possible, so that we can keep the losses at a minimum, no matter what the market is doing. And as soon as we see that a trend is unfolding, like we have in the S&P in 2017 here, we are adding on. So our initial entry here was very small, and then as we saw the market progressing, taking fractals very successfully and continuing up, we are adding on to our initial position, and that's where we make money, because we have bigger positions as we add on and the market is running. Initial trades are always at a very small risk, and of course the requirement for add-ons would be that the overall time frame is nicely trending and has broken out already. So that's it for the week. I think we have some interesting stuff going on. The indices still have to prove themselves to the upside and also to the downside. Very unclear territory, and not a very decisive Friday close for the past trading week. Let's see how April is going to unfold. That should give us some very interesting monthly candles to see where indices are trading, if a lot of bears are coming in and we are hitting this balance zone, meaning that the price is going to approach these kind of support levels, or if the market is bouncing off and we are going higher. Remember, momentum is still up high and we are trending up so far on the monthly chart. We'll really have to see and wait and see if the weakness comes into this. Therefore, listen to the price, never jump around, never enter positions that are too big. And that's how you survive, and that's how you make money once the market has decided to trend, like here or here. But right now, we don't have this going on anymore for our lower time frames. Thank you very much for watching again. Post any comment. I'm very happy to read you, and hopefully I'll see you soon. Bye bye.